Who is this young woman who has been quietly but powerfully forging her way into the Jamaican advertising and production landscape with a production house that delivers first world quality productions for her clients? Well, she initially wanted to be a teacher. You could say that through her work and creative application, she has been sharing insightful lessons on entrepreneurship. You may have got a taste of her work on television or her clients' social media pages, or you may even have read one of her books. Yes, she's an author. My guest is Kimala Bennett, Managing Director of The Lab Limited. Good evening. This is Profile. I am Faye Ellington. Three times lucky. That's what I'm saying about this interview today. Kimala, it's so good that you could join me.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. You're Managing Director of The Lab Limited.
Yes.
But your first interests were in videos.
Right, music videos.
Yeah, why?
Well, I like to say my dad's a music producer. My brother, Nicky B, is a singer, and I just felt a little left out, so I thought my contribution would be music videos.
You know, you've really shortchanged your dad because he's a producer, an arranger, a songwriter, a singer.
Absolutely.
He has Grafton Studios.
Yes, he does.
But you really have a creative family line. Your mother,
Right.
Judith.
She's a makeup artist, so she works with me on sets as well. So we do have as you said, a creative family, and that has really helped me in terms of just developing my craft as a filmmaker.
You attended Holy Childhood High School.
I did.
You were the head girl there. Now, to be head girl, you have to be good with academics. And you have to show some leadership skills and potential. What was your experience at Holy Childhood like?
It was amazing. And I mean, as a matter of fact, being head girl at Holy Child was probably one of my first introductions to really setting a goal. I got to Holy Childhood and I met the head girl at the time, and I was just so inspired, and I was like, I want to be just like her. So literally, from first form, I wanted to be head girl of Holy Child. I was very proud of my school, and that was the first goal.
So you are a strategist.
I am a strategist at heart. Everyone will tell you that, because initially I still am probably really bad at math. And I remember recognizing that in order for me to be head girl, I had to go to sixth form. So I literally found a teacher, Miss Corcher, bless her soul, from Campion College, Saturday classes. I would go to the 7 o'clock class so that I could actually understand what was being taught in the 11 o'clock class, because I recognized that I needed to go to sixth form in order to be head girl. So it was my first introduction to setting a goal, strategizing, and working hard to achieve that goal. And that has been my guiding principle ever since.
Because ever since you've been setting these goals,
Yes.
perhaps outside of the academics, what's your fondest memory of Holy Childhood?
I would probably have to say the nickname that I got. They called me Kill Vibes. They said Killer of all vibes, because I was a disciplinarian, and I recognized that that was my role there. You know, I was really big on ensuring that we followed the rules and that we understood why there were rules. So I was that girl. So they gave me the name Kill Vibes.
Okay, Kill Vibes.
I know, right?
So, after Holy Childhood, where did you head?
I actually took a year off, and I worked with Mrs. Roden at Crimson Dawn, which was an amazing experience. Paulette Roden, an amazing woman, and I really learned a lot just working with her. And we did a lot of telemarketing at the time, because she said, you know, you're not doing anything for the year, come on over. And everyone was really afraid of me taking that year off because they thought I wouldn't go back to school, but I knew what I was doing. And I then attended Mount Holyoke College.
Before you go there, Mrs. Roden, you said she was a great influence on you,
she
and
was.
that's, I'm paraphrasing,
Yes.
and about relationships. She really guided you with relationships.
Yes, she
In
did.
what way did she guide you?
She told me that, listen, boys will come and go. So any decision that you're going to make, if because of a boyfriend or anything, you would have made the other decision, go with the first decision. So school was first, and she encouraged me. She knew that I was going off to school, and she said, you know, Mr. Roden waited on her. She went to Switzerland and did her thing and came back. So that stuck with me, and that's something that I pass on to, you know, the younger generation. Ensure that you have your goals right. They'll be there, and if things are meant to be, They'll be there when you get back.
After Crimson Dawn and Paulette Roden, you headed to North America.
I did.
Where and for what reason?
Mount Holyoke College in Massachusetts. It was an all-women's college. Well, it still is an all-women's college. And I really wanted to be a psychologist at the time. You know, you had mentioned me being teaching, and that has always been a part of me and will always be a part of me. But I did want to be a psychologist. And I interned with an organizational psychologist who at the time said to me, "Why do you want to be a psychologist?" And I said, "Well, I like helping people, and I would love to be Dr. Kimala Bennett." And she said, "No, you're going to need something a little bit more than that." And the funny thing is, she'd always ask people, "What would you do for free if you didn't have to worry about money? What would you do for free?" And she said to me, "You need to be in advertising," because I was constantly speaking to her about how we're going to get her on Oprah. I always had a camera. I was always, at the time, I wasn't aware of what I was doing, but I was pretty much branding her. You know, I was saying, "No, you know, doctor, I'm just going to do this. Let's film your hair. Let's put this little package together." So she said to me, "You're at a liberal arts college. Do a course in film production and tell me what you think." And I fell in love with it, and that was it. So we declared my minor in film production, but I do have a degree in psychology, which I use every single day.
You have to deal with people.
Right.
You run a company. You're the managing
Absolutely.
director of the Lab Limited. How many members of staff?
We currently have 15 members of staff full-time, but because we do production, we contract workers of like up to 60 on any big production per se. So,
Big productions.
yes.
What are some of those?
Well, we've managed to do a lot of TV commercials for some of Jamaica's biggest companies: NCB, Digicel, Grace Kennedy, Hilo. We also had the opportunity of being the production host for Nick Cannon when Nick Cannon came for King of the Dance Hall. We've produced music videos for Drake, for Rihanna, being the local production company on the ground.
Those are big names.
Yes.
How do you land those?
Well, thanks to Auntie Maxine. I
Maxine
call her
Waters.
Maxine Waters. She's my Auntie Maxine. I got my first production assistant job with her, actually. And at the time, she couldn't do her job, and she said, "You know, would you be interested in doing this project?" And I said, who is the artist? And she didn't remember at the time, and she was just like, "Well, it's Drake." And I was more interested in who the director was, and it was Anthony Mandlaw. And that for me was a big deal, because I had interned at HSI, which was a production company in Los Angeles, and it was my dream to produce music videos, and it came.
If there's one music video producer who is just the standard, as you see it, who would that be?
Well, a music video director would be Hype Williams.
Director, rather.
Hype Williams.
Why?
Because he's just ridiculously creative, and he really made a mark in terms of his look. I mean, a music video director should be, you should be able to watch a video and say, "Okay, that's a Hype Williams video," without it feeling too much alike. He has a style, and he almost revolutionized hip hop and R&B back in the 90s, and I grew up on that. So I actually had the opportunity of working with him. He did a music video for Kanye West, which was in Prague, and he invited me to come and do the behind the scenes for that. And again, that just made me dream even bigger.
You said you're not Dr. Bennett?
No, I'm actually very happy with what I'm doing right now. And I'm forever grateful to Dr. Romney for really introducing me to that, and for, you know, allowing me to recognize that I had a passion and didn't realize that exactly.
If there is one challenge that you'd like to warn people who are about to set up business for the first time, what would that be?
Mistaking cash flow for profit. A lot of persons, you know, see cash flowing through the company and they say, "Oh yeah, we're making money," but they're not recognizing that they have costs. You know, the cost of goods, the fixed costs, and just being pretty responsible where that is concerned. I think a lot of people mistake.
And those math classes.
I know, right? It paid off.
Yes.
Because actually right now I'm very big on my financials, and while it is not algebra, you still understand, you know, why it was necessary
Indeed.
for me to do
Kimala Bennett is my guest. She's a managing director of the production lab, the Lab Limited, a production company. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us.